Alright, time to do my UFC 165 predictions. This one kind of snuck up on me. I forgot there was even a show coming up next week. So there you go. If there's any doubt as to whether or not they're running too many shows, well, there you go. Alright, main event, light heavyweight championship matchup. Jon Jones against Alexander Gustafsson. In some ways, this is a really good matchup, and in a lot more ways, it's a really horrible matchup. First off, Jon Jones, when you look at one of the reasons why he's been so dominant in the light heavyweight division is because he has that insane reach advantage. Nobody can really get on the inside. The only guy that's really had any success at all with him was Lyoto Machida, and that was doing the counter punching. But just in general, because he has that reach advantage, he can keep everybody at a distance. Just pop, pop, pop. Then he gets up against the cage, elbows, fight over. What makes this matchup interesting is Gustafsson is one of the few fighters in the UFC that I believe has a reach that is almost on par with what Jon Jones has. And also he has the insane height advantage. So there you go. This is really sort of an inversion of the normal Jon Jones fight, where Jones comes in, he's towering, he's all lanky, he's out there throwing bones like Dawson in Street Fighter 2. Well, now he's fighting a dude that's taller than him that has an almost comparable reach. So you're kind of wondering to yourself, will that make Jon Jones change up his game plan? Because when he goes into a fight, he does the jab, sets up the jab, takedown, and then we'll see what happens from there. With Gustafsson, though, you got to wonder, is he going to be able to do that? Can he go in there and just, dab him and jab and jab and jab and set something up? And I think what's going to happen here is it's going to take a little bit longer. Usually Jon Jones, like we saw in this fight against Chilson, he just goes in there, drops you, takes you out as quick as he can. I think in this one, he's going to try to kind of pace himself. He's not going to go for the finish in the first round, even though he probably could if he wanted to. I think he's going to go in there. He's going to kind of fill out Gustafsson, going to set up the counter punch, let him come in because Jon Jones is clearly a faster fighter. And eventually he's going to wear him out in the first round, and then the second, I think that's when he either brushes him up against the cage and try to set up for a TKO there, probably by elbow strikes, or he's going to try to set up for the takedown, and once he does that, I think this fight is all over. Simply put, once this fight goes to the ground, it's Jon Jones has it in the bag. Can Gustafsson win this fight? I really, really doubt it. Yeah, the dude, he can throw some punches, ask Matt Hamill. But at the end of the day, I think Jones is just a better striker, definitely a better wrestler. Gustafsson, not really a guy with any major takedown skills offensively or defensively. Jon Jones, clearly a better submission fighter. He's faster. I think he's stronger. He's just all around a better overall fighter. I think Gustafsson's had a good run. He's knocked off some big names leading up to the Jones fight. But Jon Jones, I think, is still fighting on a completely different level. And I think he wins this fight. Second round, submission. All right, our co-main event. Bantamweight interim championship fight because Dominic Cruz will never ever fight another fight again for as long as he lives. We got Renan Barrero taking on Eddie Wineland, and this is one of those fights where I really, really think it's a foregone conclusion that Barrero is a better fighter, and he can pretty much beat Wineland any way he wants. Submission, striking, takedown, whatever. To the point where I'm thinking maybe he's going to go in there and be a little bit more conservative than normal, and maybe turn this into like a 5-round decision. But he could also pretty much stomp him out whenever he wants. I mean, no offense to Wineland. He's a decent enough fighter, but I think Barrera is certainly fighting on a different level. And I don't keep calling him Barrera when it's not really technically Barrera, but I'm sorry, I'm English, and that's our tongue problem. So I think Barrera, he wins this fight. Third round, submission. Just throwing it out there, but it could easily go to a decision. Anyway, no matter how you slice, I think Barrera is going to win this fight. He's going to win it rather easily. Heavyweight matchup: Brendan Schaub taking on Matt Mitrione. This is Matt Mitrione's first fight. Mitrione, I'm sorry. Once again, I'm English. Matt Mitrione, his first fight, some sound stuff about Fallon Fox. Brendan Schaub, a dude who was a highly touted heavyweight for a while, who just keeps losing and losing and losing. I think Mitrione, he wins this fight. He's going to win by knockout first round because that's the way all heavyweight fights end up in the UFC, except for title fights, which go on forever. Costa Philippou taking on Francis Carmot in a fight which should be incredibly boring. Carmont, he got a couple of gift bag decision victories leading up to this fight. Philippou, not really the most entertaining fighting out there, but he just keeps winning. I think Philippou will end up winning this fight by split decision in what is really an uneventful bout. Lightweight matchup: Pat Healy against Khabib Nurmagomedov. We'll just call him Khabib N because it's easier. This should really be the best fight on the entire card. Healy, of course, had that submission over Jim Miller, which overturned because he smoked the weed, taking on Khabib N, who is really an up-and-comer in the lightweight division. He's thrown some very impressive performances thus far in his career. Like I said, it should be a really good fight. I think Pat Healy ends up stealing this one in the third round, however, by knockout. So there you go. Pretty finish-heavy main card, I'm predicting. But what do I know? The preliminary card and the Facebook, YouTube stuff nobody really cares about. Just run down the card. I think Miles Jury will beat Mike Ritchie. I'm going to take Ivan Menjivar over Wilson Reese. I'm going to go with Chris Clements over Stephen Thompson. I like Dustin Kimura over Mitch Gagnon in a bantamweight fight. I'm going to go with John Makdessi over Rene Forte. I like Michael Prazeres over Jesse Ronson. I'm going to go with Alex Casares over Roland Delorme. And I like my boy Nandor Gomino over Daniel Almaz, over that guy. So anyway, there you go. Probably not going to be one of the more memorable fights or cards in UFC history. But it looks like it should have at least one or two decent fights. And somebody's going to get knocked out. So there you go. See you at the cage.